I'm Nexa,
Hello, I'm Juniper.
and welcome to MetaMystica.
This is our first episode.
Number 1.
We're very excited to be here. We're finally doing it.
Yeah. Long time coming.
Long time coming. Lots of planning. Today, we're going to be talking about meditation.
Yes. Super important, right?
Very important. Very.
Yeah. Not as hard as people think, though.
No, and not as boring as some people think, too. Because I've noticed that that's a lot of people have issues with, like, I can't sit still for that long.
Yeah,
I can't
that's true.
think nothing for that long.
Yeah, I think the biggest misnomer for me is a lot of people will say, like, I can't keep my mind blank. I can't get all the thoughts out of my head.
Mm-hmm.
And what they don't realize is that's not necessarily the goal. The goal isn't to, like, stop all thought for all forms of meditation.
Right.
You know, it's just to not engage the thought.
Mm-hmm.
One of the most frustrating things to me, though, when I was first learning, was every, like, book I read or person I talked to was like, just don't engage the thought. Period.
Right?
They never explained to me what that meant. What does it mean? What does it mean not to engage that thought? I don't know. What it really means, what I found in my own journey, is if you have, like, a grocery list, and your head, a thought pops into your head and goes, hey, I need to get groceries today. If you start going, I need bananas and pumpkins, you have gone down the rabbit hole, my friend. You've engaged that thought. So your goal is to say, hey, I need to go to the grocery store today, and let that thought just cruise on by down the stream of consciousness.
Right.
And
Address
not
it.
jump in.
Address it, and then, we'll come back to you and let it pass.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, and you just kind of let those thoughts cruise by. One interesting thing I came across very recently that I never thought about this way was the idea that if you silence all thought, sometimes the guidance that you would receive in your meditation, you won't allow in.
Right.
If you forcefully silence all thought, I should say. If you just go to a calm place and it sort of quiets itself, that's different. But sometimes people forcefully, like, try to shut everything down, lock it down. And I think when you do that, that's when you'll end up in a lot of situations where, if there's guidance that's supposed to come through to you, it's like you're telling them, shh, 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 no noise.
Right.
So you can't even hear the guidance that's supposed to come to you because you're like, I'm not supposed to hear anything. The Buddhists say it's silent, and there's so many different forms of meditation. What have you experienced?
When I first started, I immediately, started, getting pictures in my head. And I don't know, I'm like one of those people who sit with their thoughts for too long, and I'm like, do other people think the way that I think? But I'm pretty sure we can all visualize things in our minds, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I first started meditating, that's what I was getting a lot, was just random images. And then I'd get worried, oh, why am I thinking of this random peacock? Or why am I thinking of this random house? What's wrong with me? I'm doing this wrong. And then, after meditating with you for a while, I learned, those are your messages. Those are your downloads.
Yeah.
It's just, accept it. Just try not to think, like you said, don't think, oh, I need to go to the store after this because I need to get bread because my husband ate all the bread and he's an idiot, and then see that you're gone.
Yeah,
forget
totally.
It's, like you said, you just kind of gotta, keep steering yourself back up there, and it takes practice.
Definitely.
It does take practice, but it's not I don't know, it's not as hard as people make it seem to be, and it's not as boring. Just practice.
I think one of the things, too, talking about the practice,
Mm-hmm.
that a lot of people struggle a lot with is this idea that they'll get very frustrated with themselves. And one of the things I teach all my meditators at my classes is when you come and you sit, if you do find yourself cruising down that rabbit hole, just plummeting down there, now you've got your full grocery list going in your head, and you've got that plan going. As soon as you've realized you've done it, now you're back in control.
Yep.
Now you can take a deep breath and put yourself back to center. Don't get frustrated with yourself.
No.
The worst thing you can do is go, oh, I did it again, because now you're adding all that emotion on top of it.
Yes.
And you're adding all that frustration, which is pushing you further away from a meditative state. You just go, oh, no problem, back to center,
Right.
and let it flow.
Right, and if you can't do it the first couple times, just be proud of yourself for making it onto that cushion or wherever you go to meditate.
Definitely, yeah.
Be proud of yourself for showing up, because it's like yoga. You're not going to be able to twist backwards and put your leg up over your head the first day. No, you have to practice. It's like your brain is literally a muscle. Stretch it, and you'll be able to do all sorts of wonderful things.
Definitely.
But I just said, like, go to your mat or go wherever you meditate. That's not the only way that you can meditate. There are so many other ways. People are always like, why? I can't sit still for that long. Okay, so like practice it in the shower. How long is a shower? Like 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes if you're me.
Those shower thoughts.
Right? I love it. Just allow your mind to go to that meditative state. That's why we have shower thoughts. That's why we get these ideas while we're in the shower. It's because you subconsciously slip into that meditative state because there's nothing distracting you. There's, you're in the shower, you're relaxing, and then, you have this idea or how you can fix that project at work or something, and that you're meditating.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't get that.
And it's so true. And one of the things that's called, too, is you have a form of meditation called getting into flow. And that is where, like, some people it's crocheting or knitting, or even if you're working on, for, like, guys, like, working on cars, or women, I don't judge. But, like, working on a project, painting, it could be anything that you're doing that immerses you in and challenges you just enough that it engages your brain, but not so much that it's frustrating.
Right.
So it sort of absorbs you in it. It's those things you do where you lose time, where you suddenly look up and you're like, oh my gosh, where'd daylight go? And last thing you knew, it was morning. It's those things that absorb you. That's a meditative state that you enter. Now, I will say, not all meditative states are created equal. So they'll provide you some kind of benefit of meditation, but different types of meditation benefit you a little bit in different ways. So trying to do different types, not just sticking to one, can be beneficial too. So if you're always doing like the flow types of meditation, sports, they enter flow all the time. That's where they get their second wind, is when they're really hitting flow a lot of times. Stuff like that. That's a great form of meditation, where you're just losing yourself. People going to the gym hit that a lot. But also sitting and resting in that form of meditation somehow is a different type of way to unplug your brain. So I like to mix it up a bit and try different types as well, not just sticking to like one every day, same.
Right.
So sometimes for people who have a hard time with like routine and doing the same thing, I would say try different types. Even with just like the meditation, that's the I'm sitting on the cushion types of meditation, there's so many different types of those meditations to do. What's your favorite one of like that kind of meditation?
My favorite type of meditation is guided meditations. Like, it's so easy to find guided meditations. You just type in, and there's so many. There's ones to help you, like, find your spirit animal. There's ones to, like, help you find, like, your witchy name. There's so many different types of guided meditations out there. And I love it because I don't trust myself enough to, like, stay in the moment. And it just helps me because, like, I'm very ADHD with my thoughts. But if I'm like engaged in something and I'm like, oh, this guided meditation is like 17 minutes long. That's 17 minutes of my 24-hour day that I can take to myself, listen to someone as they take me through like the fairy forest or something. Yeah. And it's like, it takes me out of my body and puts me somewhere else for just a little bit. And it's just so magic. Those are my absolute favorites.
That's great, yeah. Yeah, I love the guided. Guided is where I started too, for the same reasons. Like, my brain wouldn't shut off. I couldn't not engage those thoughts and follow those rabbit holes. But if I was guided somewhere, my brain was told something to think about. Right. So I could follow that trail of thought. Then as I worked further on meditation, I found that there's two loves that I have that are like my two favorite types of meditation. I love a good drumming meditation, like shamanic drumming meditation. There's something in that, like, the bigger and louder the drum, it just shakes my whole body and just like lifts me off somewhere. So I love a good drumming meditation. But the one that I do pretty much every day with routine, which I never in my life ever thought I would do. I am not a routine person. I am an intuitive person. I cruise with the universe. Never. I'll wake up in the morning and end up in a different state with no plan to do so. So routine is not my thing. However, I started doing mindfulness meditation. And what mindfulness meditation is it's really about being in your moment, the moment right here that you're in. And there's different ways you can do it. For me, it's about focusing on a sound. It could be the sound of like an air conditioner or a fan, something that's consistent and constant, that you can hear kind of repeatedly in your environment. It could just be the sound of the birds around you if you're outside, or a stream. Streams are great, or a fountain or something. Some people actually get recordings of like a drip of a faucet or something to listen to. And you focus on that noise and kind of exclusively focus on that noise. And the goal is it's supposed to be something that is not super interesting to focus on. Whereas like some musics and things are really, really fascinating to your brain. So you're focused in on them. But I find that in this kind of meditation, it takes me to this like floating place where I'm like in this like inky black place, and it's just like warm and comforting, and I'm just floating there. And what's nice is it sort of unplugs your brain from everything. And it's just this moment of space. And I meditate for about 15 minutes every day. And that's my goal, 15 minutes. I do mine in the morning. Mornings tend to be easier because there's not as much going on in my brain. I found that when I meditate, the later in the day I meditate, the harder it is to get my brain to stop yapping at me.
Right.
Because I have my whole day behind me. I have all the stuff that I thought about doing, the stuff that I should have done that I didn't do, the stuff that I've got to get ready to do for tomorrow that I don't want to do. So I have all that stuff going on in my head that I'm thinking about. So the later in the day that I meditate, the harder it is to calm my mind. It's not impossible or anything, but just when I wake up in the morning, I try to wake up, and before I really do anything with my day, I meditate. So getting into that routine for myself has helped. And I'm not a morning person, so it's sort of, that was my struggle too, like finding that 15 minutes in my morning, because I'm not a morning person, but I sort of went, you know what? Even if I'm running late, meditation is still something I do. Like that's part of me running late. Just as if I had to like get dressed.
Right.
It's part of that.
Yeah.
And the days that I don't do it, because I'm human, there are definitely days where I'm like, I just can't today.
Oh, yeah.
I know the difference. Do you notice the difference when you don't meditate?
Yes. Yes, I'm more scatterbrained than usual. And, like, when you were talking about the mindfulness meditation, I wanted to say that sounds an awful lot like what they tell you to do when you're having an anxiety attack. Mm-hmm. So, like, meditating is, like, a wonderful tool for people with anxiety.
Yes.
But yes, like, and I do struggle with anxiety a lot, and I am more anxious when I don't meditate, and when I don't take that time for myself to, like, ground myself and, be in that moment, then the rest of my day is, like, anxious and not fun.
Yeah, I always say that, like, pardon me, I always say that in meditation for me, like, when I do it, it's like it gives me this, like, space bubble between me and the rest of the world, where I have this space to react, like to choose what I'm going to do. I have this space I can choose my reaction when something happens, like a buffer zone, that if I don't meditate, especially if I don't meditate for an extended period of time, that buffer zone like disappears. And then I'm more reactive to what happens to me. I don't have that chance to go, all right, let's think about this, or let's choose what I'm going to react. I just react more instinctually. And so it's kind of like it gives me that space. It helps with my anxiety. To sort of find my center and be more calm in my day. So and it's interesting, like, I find, too, with meditation, it's something I notice more when I don't do it than when I do it. Because it becomes my norm, so I don't notice as much the day-to-day, but when I don't do it, now I notice. Like, it becomes that thing, Yeah, some people are like, I meditate all the time, what's the difference? Don't meditate, then you'll know.
Yeah. It's like going without your coffee.
Yeah.
Then your whole day is fucked.
Definitely. Yeah. Then it's just a drowsy mess.
Right.
Yeah. And everybody's in danger.
They may not know it, but they're definitely in danger.
Definitely. And like one thing I always teach new people when they're starting with meditation, like especially your first couple times sitting down, I say, your whole goal, your only goal, is to just try to feel a little more relaxed today. It's not to go anywhere. It's not to have an experience. It's not to reach the Zen Buddhist state of a clear mind. If you, after you get up, feel just a tiny bit more relaxed, you have succeeded, my friend.
Right.
That's what I teach all my beginner meditators. Because that's what it's for. That's your goal. And if you can have a little success, it helps encourage you that you're on the right path.
Yeah.
You can make the next step forward. Because everybody wants to, like, be at the finish line when they start, you know? We all want to get there. None of us want to, like, take the journey, you know? But the journey is an amazing thing to take.
It really is.
You know?
And that's another thing, is a lot of people think that there is a finish line to this. There is no finish line. You will be doing this forever. There's no, like, grand prize, like...
You don't get a diploma to hang on the wall and be like, I did it, next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's part of your life. It's part of your journey now, and it's a wonderful thing to take with you.
It's a lifestyle change.
It is. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. But it's, like, a really good one. And one thing I want to dive into is, like, with meditation, sometimes you do have, like, journeying that happens.
Oh, absolutely.
Where you go places, man.
Yeah, some weird shit can happen.
Yeah. And, like, nobody talks about that shit, yo. So, like, you go in these meditations, especially if you go to this really nice, cool shop or this yoga studio, and you do this meditation, and you have this weird fucking experience. And then you look at these people and you're like, I cannot share this with anybody because no one else is talking about this stuff. And just like, it was great, namaste. You know, and you're just going, no, I'm just going out. I'm leaving. So it happens. You're not alone. It's okay. It's technically normal.
Yes.
I would say, at least for my experience.
Yes.
So you're not alone. It's okay. And if it doesn't happen for you, for many people it doesn't, you're also not alone. You know, it's a beautiful thing about meditation. Don't have expectations. Let it be what it is. Not every time I sit down do I have some amazing experience, but not every time I sit down do I have just a blank experience. I never know. You know, sometimes I'm just trying to meditate real quick so I can start my day, and I have this, like, whoa experience. Sometimes I sit down like, all right, I'm ready. I'm going to extra time. You know, I lit candles and incense. I'm doing it today. And it's just, whoop, nothing. No. So you never know. You just never know. It's the universe.
Yeah.
You know, so absolutely. It's definitely one of those experiences. So I always try to tell people, like, it's okay. Don't feel weird or strange if you're having interesting experiences, especially during guided ones. Like, that was one of the things I've noticed with a lot of my meditators. They would talk about how we would do these guided meditations in the studio, and they would be like, wow, but I sort of went off here. I kept trying to pull myself back. So I kept trying to tell them, go where your guides are taking you. Clearly, you didn't need to be where we were going. You were needed to be somewhere else. And I've had that myself. A lot of times, especially, I have other people come in and lead meditations here also, that they would be starting to lead a meditation, and I'm trying to go with them, and my guides are like, yeah, we're going this way. And so I was just like, all right, off we go. You know, and so you don't have to stick with the guided meditation. So if you do look up these meditations and you're following the guide, next thing you know, you're off, they're going under the sea, and you're up in the stars. Keep going, man. Go in those stars, you know.
Right. You do you.
Yeah. And for guided meditation, it's one of my favorite places. I don't know that we mentioned it. No endorsements, but YouTube. YouTube.
Yes.
Quick, easy, and free.
And you can literally just type in, like, anxiety meditation or even depression meditation.
You can meditate for any emotion.
Yes.
Anger, happiness, sadness, positivity, whatever.
Yes.
So you can meditate, and they'll meditate in a way that will relieve a negative emotion or kind of uplift and enhance a positive emotion. You can meditate to heal your inner child, to heal your body, meditate to heal pain.
Right.
They have all sorts of different meditations, all the different styles, chanting, mindfulness.
Meditation for beginners.
Yes, that's one of the best ones.
Yes.
And they have all sorts of different lengths. They even have 5-minute meditations, which I always say to people, 20 minutes, science says, will change the gray matter in your brain 20 minutes a day. But aim for 5 if you can only do 5. That's better than doing nothing.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely.
So if you only have 5 minutes today to meditate and you normally do 20, do 5. If you know, work your way up to what you can do. Anything is better than nothing. Right. You know, that's definitely something that I think is really important for people to know. Like, don't put pressure on yourself. Just try your best.
Right. And please don't listen to people when they tell you that there is a one way to meditate.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the most frustrating things for us. You know, I'm a big proponent of, I'm going to tell you the way I do things, the way I've experienced things, and how I've learned them. But that's my view. You know, you have to figure out what resonates with you. I always say, take what resonates and leave the rest. You know, you've got to decide what fits your journey. We're all on different paths. You know, there's things that I do that are different from what she does.
Right.
You know, we all have our own way. So we're just showing you our way that hopefully some of it will help you. You know, find what works for you. So nothing that we're saying either is something that we're saying is the only way, you know. So if it doesn't fit for you, that's cool. Just go about your way and find what does. Yeah. You know, that's also really important for us.
Right. And to anyone who has never meditated, if you're like, no, I'm not meditating, I'm not wasting my time, do yourself a favor, just do 5 minutes one time. If you do not feel better, fine. You don't have to do it again. But just try it, because it's definitely something that I never thought that I never would have done it without you. I never would have. And the first time I did it, I was like, wow, there's something here. I need to keep doing this, and nothing has been the same.
Yeah, I can agree with you on that. Like, I am an impatient person. I always make the joke that, like, I was born without patience. So the idea of, like, sitting down for meditation, I'm, like, every character in, like, every one of those, like, science fiction books that's, like, the hero that wants to run off to do the next thing, and, like, the guru is like, sit down, meditate, and they're like, no, I want to do the thing. That was always me. Still is. But I've learned that if I sit and meditate, all the things are much easier to do in life. You know, it just makes life easier. And also, you know, like, if you do any kind of energy work, or you want to get into magic or the occult or manifestation, meditation is the key. Like, you will hear it over and over. Start reading the books. You will find out. Doing your research. Everyone you talk to, they're going to tell you, step 1, meditation. You're going to get so sick of hearing the word meditation if you start working on that. Same thing if you're just going to take, I'm just on a spiritual journey, man. Everybody you talk to is going to say, hey, do you meditate? So it's one of those things where, you know, in the beginning, it's easy to be kind of, I'm gonna avoid it. It's not really my thing. It's not really something I do. But you're just gonna find out, like, the deeper you go on your path, it just keeps coming back up and coming back up and coming back up.
Right.
So it's something I always recommend, finding a way to work it into your practice. Meditating before bed is a great experience that I recommend to people who have a hard time working it in, you know, maybe in the morning. But finding some time in the day that works for you. So for some people, it's on a break. If you're a smoker, on a smoke break. You know, whenever it works for you. Find that snippet of your day that you can give to yourself, because you deserve it. And that's the most important thing, too.
Right.
You deserve this time. You're worthy of this time, so give it to yourself. You know, don't rush to the next thing for somebody else or something else. Just take the time. Take the breath. And you'll find that you can give much more of yourself to whatever it is you're trying to accomplish by taking this small snippet of time for yourself. It's amazing. It really is. When you balance everything out, how much more you have to give.
Right.
You know, at least it's what I found in my journey.
Oh, absolutely. We understand. We all have busy lives.
Yeah, it took me a long time to, like, meditate on the regular.
Right.
I fought that for a long time.
Yeah, like, it's really not that hard to just carve out, even if it is just 5 minutes a day. It's really not that hard.
Now that I do it, I kind of find it silly that I fought so hard for so long and really, like, believed that I didn't have the time.
Right.
You know? And it's one of those things where I was convinced I didn't have the time. And it's just because I didn't want to do it. You know, it's not that I didn't have the time. That was an excuse I gave myself and other people.
Exactly.
It just came down to I didn't want to.
Right. If you wake up and, you know, your morning, you're thrust, you know, you're, what's the word that I was just going to use? You're thrusted? Is that the word? I don't know, sorry. I don't know what word I was trying to use. But, like, if you wake up in the morning and, like, immediately it's go, go, go. Like, you have a 3-year-old, you got to get them to daycare, then you got to go get your coffee, then you got to get to work. Wake up 10 minutes before you have to get your kid up. 10 minutes. Do it. You'll feel so much better throughout the day.
Yeah. And I meditate in bed because, again, I'm not a morning person. Now, I sit myself up, put my pillows behind me, sit up, and I sit straight up in bed because the idea of me, like, getting up out of bed to a meditation cushion and meditating, and then it's too much. It's too much. I'm lucky I'm awake, okay? We're lucky we got that far. So don't be afraid. Like she said, you wake up that 10 minutes early. You ain't got to get out of bed.
Right.
Mm-mm. Just slide up, sit up, and I recommend sitting up wide because your ass will be back asleep. I've tried that myself. I would wake up 10 minutes later and be like, yep, lost my time. So I sit up straight and lean against my pillows and get in a comfy position and then do my meditation. And it's really nice. It's just a nice way to start your day. And like she said, there's guided ones, there's music, all sorts of music you can listen to that's timed to whatever time you want. So you can have music meditation,
Right.
as well as the guided ones. So if you just want to listen to some music, some people like the same every day. Some people have, so you might find one that you really like, and you do that meditation every day for a period of time, and that's perfectly fine. Whatever works for you, So don't be afraid to find something that you like, that you want to do. You don't have to vary it, or you don't have to do the same one. It's finding what works for you. That's really the most important thing.
Did I ever tell you that I absolutely hate the drums?
No, you
They
didn't.
stress me out. I
So
hate
funny.
it. I hate and like my heart starts going to the rhythm of the drums.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't do it. That's a no for me.
That's funny. I love the drums. I love how they shake my whole chest cavity. I can feel them shake me to my core.
God, it's like my heart's like. It's awful.
That's my favorite part. See? Different experiences.
Okay, so from this point on is audio only.
Audio only.
If you're watching, please go find our podcast somewhere. We'll have it linked below.
Yeah, we will.
Stop watching.
Stop watching.
You're not included in this part. Alright, links will be below. Please check out the Please check out the Metaphysical Shop. Our beautiful Nexa is the owner and operator of Metaphysics, a small little, what would you call it, like a little witchy store?
Yeah, metaphysical stuff. We have all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, go check it out.
Yeah.
If you want to. And we will be back with more of this and more.
And more. And if there's something that you are interested in us talking about that's like metaphysical related, witchy related, occult related, whatever,
Yeah.
ancient aliens, we talk about everything.
Yes.
Metaphysical related, drop us a note on our Facebook page, which is at MetaMystica. We also will have an Instagram
Yes.
by the same name.
We'll link that below too.
Yes, we will.
Please like, share, subscribe, comment. Let us know your weirdest meditation stories.
Yes, share. We love weird stories.
We do.
Let us know we're not alone.
Yes, and maybe we'll pick a couple, our next one, and read it.
Maybe we will. Yes.
All right.
See you next time.
Bye. Should we stop the camera or just keep rolling?
We'll keep rolling.
Okay. Welcome to the audio only. I guess I don't have to reintroduce. If they're listening, then they know that they're part of this.
Then they know.
Then they know. Anyways.
This is the VIP for you audio buffs out there. Hey, hey.
Hey, hey. All right. So, what has been your weirdest meditation experience?
That's like a really hard question.
Really?
I have a lot of weird experiences. So I don't even know how to answer. Why don't you go first?
Mine's really not. I mean, there's a couple that are very personal to me that I just don't. I'm not gonna share those. But one of the strangest, and it's still weird to me. I think about it all the time. It was the first time I ever meditated, and I saw this really weird building. And I was like, oh, okay. So if I ever see this building, I know that I should probably like go check it out or something. It was like, it almost looked like a factory, but it was like brick, like an old school factory.
Mm-hmm.
So I just, pushed it to the back of my mind and was like, whatever, when I see it, I'll know it. And then one day I was on Facebook, and this picture of this tannery popped up, an old tannery. It's like a museum now.
Yeah.
I don't remember where it's at. I can probably find it on my phone. But I saw it, and it was the exact same building. I've never seen that building before in my life. And I was like, that's the building that I saw when I was meditating. And I still haven't gone there because I'm really scared.
What did you tell yourself? You said, if I ever see it, I need to go.
But now I'm scared. I'm like, eh.
We didn't even listen to you. There's like a whole experience waiting for you there. Your guides are like, come on, we showed you the building.
We'll get there someday.
Someday. A lot of mine are deeply personal, so I get that part of sharing those experiences is a little hard. I did have one where another woman that works at the shop with me, her name's Jean, she was leading a meditation for past life regression, which is something I don't normally get too into. I'm more about forward. I did that already. Let's go forward. But I was there, so I was like, all right, sure. and I saw myself walking on a like Victorian England like cobblestone street, and I was initially dressed in like Victorian woman's dress, and as I walked down the street though, it was like, you know how you flip those page books and you make like the person animate and walk?
Yes.
I was flickering like that, and it was changing into different people as I walked straight. So it was like I couldn't focus long enough to really see any of these people.
Right.
But it was like, yeah, here's all your past lives. It was like, as we went through the meditation. It was the most wild experience. Like, I couldn't focus on any of them, but like the whole meditation was just that.
Oh my God.
But the street stayed the same. Like, only me as a person was flickering as I walked down the street forward.
Do you feel like if you saw that street that you would know?
Like, I probably would. It's just so weird because, like I said, the street just stayed the same, and she was like, it's hard to say. We were walking slowly down this street, like casually walking down this street. But I don't even know if the street is meaning. You know what I mean? Other than being a place.
Yeah.
But it was just weird that the street was static, and like the person was changing as it was going. I was just like, whoa.
That's so much to take in. I've never done anything like that. I have no idea.
Yeah, like, and it was interesting because I had no desire really to do it. Like, I didn't sign up for it. That's how a lot of my experiences are. Like, I'm just like, nah, I'm cool. And the universe is like, here, you're going to do this now. So I was like, okay. And yeah, it was just like, you're going to do a past life regression. I'm like, I guess I'm doing a past life regression. Okay. And it was just like, yeah, here's all the people you were. But I couldn't, like I said, other than the Victorian lady, and I couldn't see, like, her face. I just remember, like, the dress that she was wearing. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because as soon as I saw, like, the outline of her, everything flickered as she walked forward.
That is crazy.
So that was probably one of the, like, the weirder
so cool
kind of things that happened to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've also had some other weird ones, but they're, like, usually deeply personal, tied into my path, so it's hard to share them because they're so personal. But,
yeah.
But yeah, that was definitely a weird one where I was like, okay then. And some of the ones where you're like, well, that was helpful, I guess.
Right. Yeah, thanks.
All right, guys. I was many people before. Okay. Thanks, y'all. Glad we did this. They're like, you didn't want to know anything anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Like, I guess that's true. But now you know. You were here before.
That is super cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I feel like we really covered meditation.
Yeah.
Pretty well.
I think we did good for our first meditation video.
Yeah, I think we did too. Thank you for listening if you made it this far.
Thank you for sticking with us.
Yes. Please go. We have a Instagram, we have Facebook, and we have YouTube. Please go like, share, comment. Please let us know some of your stories.
Yes, share.
Yes. You're never alone in this journey. And
if there's anything you're interested in hearing us talk about, by all means, share that with us, and maybe we'll get to it in a future episode.
Absolutely.
Signing off.
Bye-bye.